We all make decisions every day, trusting our hearts, our feelings, our emotions. But Jeremiah 17:9 tells us, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" So why do we rely on something so unreliable? Proverbs 3:5 offers a powerful answer. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Yet, so often, that's exactly what we don't do. We lean on our understanding, and that's why we find ourselves in jams and difficult situations. We're often like Thomas, needing to see to believe. Deep down, we can struggle to truly believe in a God we can't see or feel. But God is real. The problem isn't God's absence, but the layers of distractions, sin, doubt, unfaithfulness that obscure our vision. It's like trying to see through a dirty window. We need to clean the glass, to peel back those layers, to truly seek Him, before we can experience His presence and guidance. He does help and guide those who genuinely seek Him. Think of Joseph. He knew God was real. He faced incredible hardship, betrayal, false accusations, imprisonment, but he remained faithful. He trusted God's plan even when it didn't make sense, and God ultimately exalted him. Noah, too, trusted God's seemingly impossible command to build an ark, and he and his family were saved. Paul, before his conversion, was zealous in his own understanding, persecuting Christians. But after encountering the risen Christ, he surrendered his own understanding and became one of the greatest apostles. These individuals demonstrate a profound trust in God, even in the face of the unknown. How many times have you made a decision that seemed perfectly reasonable at the time, only to regret it later? Maybe it was a small thing, like snapping at a loved one because you were stressed. Or maybe it was a bigger thing, like taking a job that seemed great on paper but left you feeling empty inside. Or perhaps it was a major life decision, like choosing a partner based on fleeting feelings, ignoring the red flags that were waving right in front of you. We've all been there. We make these choices based on what we think is right, what feels right, but we don't always see the bigger picture. We don't see the ripple effect of our actions. Consider Sarah. She wanted God's promise of a son, but when it didn't happen as quickly as she expected, she took matters into her own hands, giving Hagar to Abraham. It seemed like a logical solution, but it resulted in jealousy, conflict, and deep pain. Her reasoning made sense to her, but it wasn't God's way. Or think of Samson. He was chosen by God, given incredible strength, but he followed his own desires, particularly with Delilah. He ignored the warnings, convinced he was in control, but his trust in Delilah led to his downfall. Even Peter, a devoted disciple, stumbled. When Jesus spoke of his coming death, Peter rebuked him, thinking he was protecting his master. But Jesus responded, "Get behind me, Satan." Peter's emotions and logic told him one thing, but God's plan was far greater. They all thought they were making good decisions, but they were leaning on their own limited understanding. The truth is, we are tiny beings in an infinite world. We hold a flickering candle before the blazing sun. We see so little, know so little, and yet we act like we know it all. So how do we change? How do we move from self-reliance to true trust in God? Here are some practical steps. Cultivate a close relationship with God. This is the foundation. Spend time in prayer, reading His Word, and listening for His voice. The more we get to know Him, the more we trust Him. Peel away the layers of distractions. Identify the things that are hindering your relationship with God. Sin, doubt, fear, worldly desires, and actively work to remove them. This is a process, not a one-time event. Find a close, godly friend. Seek out someone who walks closely with God, someone you can confide in, and who will speak truth to you, even when it's hard to hear. Discuss important decisions with them before you act. Remember Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. This is a promise. When we trust in God and submit to His will, He will direct our paths. Trust the process. Even when we make decisions based on prayer and wise counsel, things may not always turn out as we expect. But when we trust in God, we can have peace and joy, knowing that He is working in our lives, even through difficult circumstances. He sees the bigger picture, and He is working all things together for our good.